Humanastory. Humanastory was built out of the need for human companionship, a togetherness that only comes from people helping others. We wanted to be able to tell our stories and share our expressions with everyone who needs them. By us telling our stories, we're able to share that moment that forever changed who we are. But the idea is not just to tell our story, but to share the journey in how we overcame that moment in our lives, allowing others to read and see the story and connect to the one sharing it. Most people want to tell the horrid things, but fail to share the accomplishments. At Humanastory, we are not those people. We are strong, the winners. We are the achievers. We believe that sharing our experiences will help someone out there in the same situation and allow them to connect with others that have already conquered their struggle. We give the resource within our stories to help those who otherwise would fall. The help to stand up and face what is in front of them without fear or doubt. We believe everyone has the ability to succeed in life. If you are alive on this little rock hurtling through the endless void we call the universe, you are a Humanastory. How much of one is up to you.
Coffee, 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 coffee. Hey, coffee, 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 coffee. Hey, today is Flat Friday, and if anyone simply questions Mark Sargent, stumps him, I'm going to provide a link to contact us to get that question out. So hello, Humanistorians, how are you? It's a beautiful, exciting Flat Friday. It's February 12th. Valentine's Day is coming up. I mean, need I say more? Coffee, 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 coffee. Oh. Anyway, this is episode number 40. I'm joined by Mr. Magoo, and if you'd like to join the conversation as well, simply log into our current Humanastory thread and give us your best shot. And if they're good, I'll read them on the air. If they're bad, Mr. Magoo will read them on the air. Coffee with Humanastory is the unscripted show whose theme is created by members, for members, and involves Humanastory members from around the world. Now, we also have Mr. Sargent, and we all know Mr. Sargent, but he has one of his devoted cult following members.
Wow.
And his name is Squeaky. So say hello, Squeaky. How you doing there, buddy?
How you all doing today? I'm doing great. Love to be on the show. Thank you.
If you can't find the show, you're probably using a toaster somewhere in the Amazon off-grid. I stole that from you, by the way, Mark. I just want to...
I know you stole that from me. Thanks.
I change it every day, though. No, it's... All right,
good.
but more importantly, which is much more important, the more you weigh, the harder you are to kidnap. So eat more tomatoes.
Yeah.
So callers can call into our show at 1-619-798-6307 if you're in the San Diego area, or just don't care about them long-distance charges. You can Skype us at Humanastory for a worldwide connection. And again, when you do, just reference CWH40. You can submit your stories to us by going to our website and clicking the submit button. That's all you have to do. The submit might be a beautiful thing. Reading with Humanastory airs at 12:30 on Saturdays. Coffee with Humanastory episodes on the following Monday will reflect that Reading with Humanastory. Don't miss out on our guest speaker interviews, the Life in Review. Those ones we really like. We don't have any coming up soon. But if we do, we'll let you know. Check the schedule. So the theme of today is Flat Friday. It's number 3. And the question of the day. Should Mark Sargent wear an eye patch during interviews? Now, personally, I think so, but...
I
gotta
do
be
this
the pirate of the flat earth theory.
Pirate of the Flat Earth. But you're mixing stuff now. Pirate of the Flat Earth cult? Come on. I don't know if you can pull that
What's
off.
going on here, Blackbeard? Pay attention. Okay.
Yar.
Okay. So
I
we're just
can't
going to
see
dive...
because I have 2 glass eyes. Yar.
Yeah, right? You should do the next video just like that.
Oh, people get tired of that real quick, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so again, I'm going to go ahead and stress it. Today is Flat Friday. If you guys simply thumbs up and give us a like on this video and comment your real questions to us at Humanastory. And the way to do that will be in the link below. I'll give it to Mark Sargent to throw up in his little description, and voila. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have questions from last week, and I'm going to go ahead and lead this off real fast by expressing that I wanted to talk about the disruptive animosity. But you know what? I got to thinking about it, and it's really not worth the time. But these few people all seem to be serious. I mean, they're, at least from what I understand, they used to be pretty big in the Flat Earth community, and I wanted to know what you thought about this. Now, again, this is just your thoughts. So, Mr. Sargent, I want to talk about Star God. We already talked about him last week, but he came out with a new video, just basically, it sounded like he does have concerns about being the outcast because he's asking questions. And he takes great offense to how Miss Steer mocks him and talks about sitting on her hands. I don't know what video he's referring to, but I wanted to give him the attention because he seems like a decent guy. When he talks to me, it's on a normal level. So what is your take on that?
He used to be a really nice guy. Star God, as a matter of fact, when the Flat Earth thing was going last summer, we have never spoken directly, but we exchanged stuff through comments, and he seemed to like me, and I seemed to like, we seemed to be on the same page. And then once I was doing Patricia's show, something happened. He didn't like. I don't know why. Again, everyone's got their own take on it. Remember how I said it's kind of like Monty Python's Life of Brian, where there's so much enthusiasm in the Flat Earth movement that people everybody wants to see it done their own certain way. And he didn't like the way we were going with it, so he was attacking it. And it was unfortunate because we never had any bad words. It was sort of like Lawrence Wright and I. We never exchanged anything. He just started making videos against it and immediately said, well, he's got to be a government agent. We're turning it in a certain way. And so we didn't poke fun at him. As far as I know, we just said, look, we're like you and I have said before, it's like there shouldn't be any fighting. Just get from point A to point Z. If you guys want to kill each other when you get to the end, then fine, go ahead. But I think when you get to point Z and this thing finally cracks open, that everyone will have a different take, a different perspective on life.
Okay, well, I was going to ask you, what did you want to say to him in the end? I mean, if you could say something.
That's
to him,
pretty much
just kind of summed it up.
Yeah, that's pretty much
okay,
it.
the reason why I'm saying anything right now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is the last time I'm going to address negativity. I wanted to give these people the benefit of the doubt because these are people you've all spoken highly of at one point, and I couldn't wrap my head around why. I mean, other than the fact that they're doing it for attention, like a little kid when you take their ice cream cone.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about this Matt Boylan. He came out with a video called Flat Earth Ground Zero, and he does nothing but... Now, from what I understand, he's an actor, right? So the first thing I think of is, okay, he's acting. But... when I saw an interview with him and Patricia, and he was real happy. Yep. Everything was great, and then all of a sudden, I hear all these negative things coming about him. And I'm not really big in this Flat Earth stuff. So, yeah. I mean, if it's hitting me, who else is it hitting, right? Yeah. So he expresses great anger in his video. Like, he's really pissed off. It almost seems like he's paranoid. But I don't know the extent of how much his acting interferes with his reality, Did you ever see that? Did you see the Ground Zero video? Maybe not.
I've seen everything that he's done. Yeah.
Tell me what you think.
He's probably the most unique individual in the whole Flat Earth movement because he was talking about Flat Earth years ago. If you believe his story, and I do, although he will never tell it again for whatever reason, when he was 25. Kind of in the midst of when he was doing the acting thing, because he's an actor / painter / singer. He's a very creative guy. Got a lot of camera presence. But when he was 25, NASA told him during a party that the world was flat. And he didn't get it.
Wait. Are you saying he spoke directly with NASA?
He worked for NASA. He was a subcontractor hired. He was a Canadian graphic artist hired out of Montreal, straight out of college. And
Are you telling me this is what it looks like when one person finds out the truth, goes off the rocker, or what?
Well, that's just it. There is, when you have something like this, there is a Neo effect, or what I call sort of a instability ratio that's potentially. Plus, he's held it in longer than anybody else. It was rattling around his head for going on 13 years now.
Oh, wow.
And he was trying to tell people years ago, but unfortunately, as creative as he is, creative people don't really dumb down or create the dummy's guide for anything. And so he kept trying to say it the same way. It's like photo or painting. And he said that a million times, and some people got it, but most people didn't. And so when I sort of translated, because I'm the first one to admit that he was an inspiration for what I did, because I thought his message was a little fuzzy, but I did buy it along with other people. So when I translated it into something that was much more simple, he contacted me like right off the bat. He contacted me even before the clues were finished, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, we should do something together." And he was thinking of moving out to Denver when I was out in Denver last year.
So he's by no means basically just a troll or somebody nuts.
No,
this is somebody who's actually, he has some meat behind him.
Oh, absolutely. He's considered a legend in this thing because
what I don't understand is, why are these people attacking you and Patricia?
Oh, they're not just.
Why are they?
They're. I mean, that's what it's. I mean, everyone sees what this thing could be. Matt was not shy when he was doing this thing with Lori.
No, he's not shy in that video Ground Zero either. But I'm trying to wrap my head around why they're so angry at you and Patricia. Maybe not just you specifically, but I mean, your guys' names keep getting dropped.
Well, because I'm going to be as humble as I can here. We're right now the most high profile people that are doing this. Okay. And these two guys used to be. Matt used to be one of two guys that was really, if you want to talk about flat Earth, there were two guys, and the first one was Matt. He was the first one that was really doing this. He didn't invent flat Earth, of course, but his story was more well known. And then Eric Dubé, and then people want the allies. So like Eric, for example, he wanted me to follow his model exactly, and when I said I wouldn't. I don't need permission from him. He started attacking. Matt did the same thing, and I've got the emails to prove it, where he asked me to attack the Catholic Church. He goes, "You've got to start building this into your interviews." And also, when people were calling me for interviews, they were asking me for Matt's contact info. And I was asking him, I was going, "Look, these people want to interview you. What do I tell them?" He goes, "Oh, I don't do interviews. I don't do this and that," like he was above it. I was like, all right, fine, I'll do them then, because they need answers. And so that's how it really came about. But those attacks never stopped because I didn't go away. Now, had I gone away, they wouldn't have talked anymore. And once Patricia and I kind of joined forces, then that was going to, that added another element to it. And so now he's, playing catch up. And
No, I don't mean to cut you off. I want to kind of keep it brief because we have a lot to get through. Of course. The whole thing behind this is, I get a lot of, because of what Humanastory stands for, and everyone kind of sees us as a neutral party. They see us coming in and just kind of getting to know you and a few other people. They come to us with the serious questions. And a lot of the concerns that I've been getting have been, they come, they see this, they see the videos by these other people, and then they get confused because they look to Star God for an answer.
Yep.
And they look in his videos, and then all that he sees is this high school teenage dramatic play being put on. Yep. And it literally pushes people away.
Yep.
So I spend most of my time telling people, just ignore the negativity, and if you need to get in touch with anyone that I can get in touch with, which is basically you and Patricia, I say, here, you can message these people, you can talk to them, they'll talk to you back. I mean, they've never been rude or mean, they're professional, I don't know I do not know, and I'd be the first one to admit it. I am not by any means an expert in this field. I just find it fascinating, right? And I've told you from time to time, it isn't going to disrupt my daily activity. So I just, again, I just wanted to clear the air. And if you could say anything to these people as a whole right now, what would you say to them?
Stop falling in. Yeah, no, not even that. Stop falling into the old power traps that have been going on for since the dawn of time, and that is, it's not like we're asking for the spotlight. We're just trying to get the message out. If you want to get the message out, get your message out. But every time that you spend whatever efforts you're putting against other people is just efforts that you're taking away from yourself.
Well, and that's the thing I was thinking. That's the exact same thing I was thinking. I was thinking if everybody worked together, you'd get a lot further.
Yeah.
So it didn't really make any sense. So I'm gonna end this portion on one small statement for everyone to understand. Well, first off, I'm gonna tell everybody who is doing this high school teenage crap: Matt Powerland, Star God, Tim Osmond. It's time to grow up. Okay, if Matt Boylan, who went to NASA, was a subcontractor, obviously he's a smart guy. If he believes in this stuff, if he follows through with it, you know what? Let go of the paranoia. Take a break. Figure something out, but quit being a little douchebag and whore. If Star God, quit your bitching. I mean, if you have serious answers, questions, whatever, throw them out there. But don't act like a kid and destroy who you are. By saying something stupid like, that host is ugly, or that Mark Sargent, he's a crazy freak. Say something intelligent. Because all you're doing is mudslinging, and that's not going to get any further. You're not going to get anywhere. Okay, now that's all I'm going to say on the whole thing. So that's that. Okay.
Do I have time for a question, or I gotta
No,
wait?
not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. You just be quiet. No, I'm kidding. I'm just teasing.
What is he like? He's not the gimp in the corner, man.
Yeah. I'm the slow old man over here.
Well, I wanted to clear the air, and I wanted to see what you thought. And if you had to say something to these people, what would it be? So basically, all I'm saying, with all joking aside, is look, Star God,
I got it.
We respect you, Mount Powerland. We respect you, Tim Osmond. Yes, I know it's not your real name, and you're afraid of the world attacking you. We still care about you too. So if you guys have serious questions and you guys really want them answered, if you're trying to find serious answers to everything, simply post them. Be realistic. Hell, contact me. Again, guys, today's Flat Friday. So here's how this is going to work. You're going to have a link in the description below. Give me your best question, and I will contact you if it works. Because my goal is to make Mr. Sargent say, Brian, you are right. Just because I like that. So, we're going to move forward, and the next segment here is going to be the thoughts on Mr. Stephen Richards' video. I don't know if you've seen Seasons Explained on the Flat Earth, but Mr. Richards, or what I call you, Squeaky, I don't know. Go ahead and let's talk about your video there, buddy.
Which one? My recent one? The latest one?
On the one that says Seasons Explained on Flat Earth?
So, yeah,
and
basically,
I want Mark Sargent's opinion on this. Go ahead, buddy.
So yeah, basically I just kind of dumbed it down for everyone to make them understand what the seasons are, how the sun goes around the Tropic of Cancer, causing our summer, then the equator, causing spring/autumn, and then around the Tropic of Capricorn to make our winter, and then in the southern hemisphere that's their summer, and then it's all backwards in that way. And then at the end of the video, I threw in a little model of mine that I made up. I believe that we are under two domes, one physical, one non-physical, one magnetic/gravitational. I'm not sure where to go there, but that's pretty much my sum up of the video. I just did that video yesterday out of the blue, no notes, no nothing, just kind of went with it.
Being the pro that you are.
Yeah, right, the pro. Well, in general, I just want to get these videos out just one after another, as quick as possible, just to help reawake everyone, to let them know that there's other possibilities to where we live and we have been lied to for
The way that you
time.
pointed that out, I thought was actually quite interesting. It was kind of like a record on a record player, the needle going in and out, in and out. That's kind of how it felt when I was watching you explain how that all went.
Yeah, it's literally just like a record player. It goes in and it goes out. It just never stops.
Mr. Richards. That's what I just said.
I know.
I'm
I'm a
just
repeater.
What are you
Okay,
repeating
so-
yourself? You're being redundant. You're being
Yeah.
that's
you're being
okay.
repetitive. You're saying the same thing over and over. That sort of thing.
Over and
Yes.
over, again and
The-
again.
Oh no, I actually no, I'm just sorry because I look at so many channels. Oh, I really like that one you did a week ago, Flat Earth and the Dome Theory.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I like that one. I know it hasn't gotten a whole lot of hits yet, but it's got a perfect rating so far, which is great. Yeah, I dug this one.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and Patricia commented on it, and Jeranism. Yeah, that one was solid. So great, nice one.
I
I
appreciate it.
really appreciate your guys' work. You guys. I won't concede defeat yet. I'm not going to say that there is a flat Earth yet, but I don't think I'll ever be able to be in that position. But I do know that secretly, maybe, sort of, kind of, I think about it. I lose sleep over this. Thanks a lot, you jerk.
Oh, that's all right.
that's-
There's a lot of people. In fact, most people lose sleep over
I was
this.
about to say, you've lost sleep over this. Good
Yeah.
God. I've lost a lot.
I get emails every week from people that say, "Oh yeah," because am I calling you Steven or am I calling you Squeaky?
You call me Steve.
Okay. See, you know as well as anybody that once you get into like the first couple hours, that's it.
Oh, it's done. That was me 4 years ago. It's been 4 years of just nonstop flat Earth, literally.
Oh wow! All right.
Oh yeah. I've read all the books. I've read the Atlantean conspiracy, the flat Earth conspiracy.
Yeah.
I've seen it all. Yeah, I've seen all of Matt
Right on.
Boylan, Powerland, whatever the hell you want to call him, his videos.
Yeah.
He's credible. He's just gone crazy lately. I don't know what to think of all that, but that's just backtrack.
Again,
Just trying to get past that.
it is what it is,
I-
and he was warned.
I think a lot of Matt Powerland's stuff is artistic licensing, but now that you mentioned that he worked for NASA, I honestly don't know what to think. He could very well have a reason to be paranoid. I mean, I'm not.
Well,
It's a government agency. Hey, NASA is the Air Force, so I
Yeah.
mean, what can you say?
Yeah. Some people will say, "Oh, yeah, they're not the Department of Defense. They're not a military operation." Absolutely, they're. In fact, they're uniquely military because they were founded not like any other armed force. They were founded on the glowing embers of the Nazi war machine. So they wouldn't even have existed without that. So yeah. Anyway,
All right. So, hey, Mr. Remke, there. Go ahead and ask your questions. It's all you, man.
Okay, I got one that might startle you. How could they take the rocket going into space with the space shuttle attached to it
Yeah.
because the people on it?
yeah. How? That's the question.
Yeah, how could they fake the rocket going into space with the
Oh, that's
space
easy.
shuttle?
Oh, easy. Because, and have you ever seen? I know you're not old enough to remember the 1979 Capricorn 1 movie. I'm joking, but they did just like Capricorn 1, and what I've said many times now is that no astronaut's ever been put on the top of any rocket ever. In fact, if you're going to fake a program like this, that's the last thing you're going to do is put people on the top of a big pile of liquid explosives and set a match to it. Because there's something that's going to go wrong eventually, and the 1986 Challenger disaster was the perfect example of that, where the Challenger rocket actually did blow up, and I don't even know if it was meant to blow up, if they were trying to stall the program deliberately, or it actually just, there was a mechanical failure. But the astronauts were down on the ground, and if anyone has any doubt of that, look up, real simple in any search engine, Challenger astronauts still alive. 6 out of the 7 astronauts, they found them. You couldn't have done this without the internet and social media. And they're out there.
Is there a correlation between the Challenger issue, how you said 6 out of 7 are still alive, and the Sandy Hook children?
That's a little different. That's a little different.
But
Sandy Hook
the
thing,
same principle.
same principle. Well, Sandy Hook was even more basic.
Well, no,
which was-
I know there's more details involved in Sandy Hook, and I didn't want to get involved in it. I was just curious
But-
if there was a
Well,
correlation.
no.
of
But
how
super
they-
quick though, if anyone doubts anything about the Sandy Hook, because I'm a conspiracy guy, I think Max Malone was the one that was offering it, but he was offering like $1,000 to anyone that could show even a 5-second clip, even a 5-second video of any child being carried out of that school by a law enforcement member or anything. There was never video. There was like 3 still shots. It was really similar to the Earth thing. There were like 3 still shots of any children, and they were in a parking lot, and they obviously were not shot that morning. But that was the problem with that whole operation, where all the news helicopters got there. They said, "Oh yeah, the children are still in the school." Nobody ever came out, and that was it. Then they eventually cut to commercial hours later, and we never did see them. So anyway, sorry, I digress. What other questions did you have, Mark?
Okay, we got another one here. What about the satellites? Our satellites in space, are they fake as well?
Yeah, they are. And what I've been trying to come back with people lately has been this one, which is, who told you there were satellites in the first place? The same people that told you that the United States went to the moon and planted a flag? Because I've gone out, and I can only say this from personal experience, I've gone out with night vision binoculars for the last 5-6 years now. And you look up there and you see a lot of things buzzing around, but they aren't satellites. I don't know exactly who put them up there, but they're not us, because they're exhibiting movement that I've never seen before in aircraft. Ballistic motions. I've never seen a satellite make a sharp left-hand or right-hand turn, or all of a sudden power up and go ballistic, or start flying in formation with other satellites. So no, I don't think there's satellites up there at all. And I used to say it's because the ISS hoax interior videos. It's like, okay, if you're faking the interior of the ISS, then how can I trust satellites? But now it's much more simple than that. It's like, who told you there were satellites? It always circles back to the same group, the space organizations. They're the ultimate gatekeepers. They're the ones that tell you that there's everything. Oh yeah, by the way, here's a picture of Saturn and Mars, and the sun. It all comes back to the same people. They're the only people that have access to this stuff. And can you trust them? And well, they're a military organization in the United States government. It's not like the U.S. government would lie about anything, right? So there you go.
Well,
What else you got?
What about our cell phones? Don't they have something to do with the satellites in space?
I used to think so as well, until I started looking into the GPS system, Global Positioning System, also designed by the United States Department of Defense, came online in the mid-90s. The cell phones are running off something, but I think they're running off the same thing that's projecting just about everything, every transmission that's going through the air. And that is an enhanced version of the LORAN system, the old LORAN system, which we've had around for decades. And that is, let me refer back to the GPS system. The GPS system, I used to say it's 24 satellites, but somebody corrected me yesterday, and supposedly it's 36 satellites that are orbiting the Earth. And yet they don't track the 3 largest oceans in the Southern Hemisphere, and it's a military organization. There's massive dead spots all over the place, not just in the oceans, but also locally. You get these weird things, like in the middle of the United States. I had the flight instructor that said, "Oh yeah, by the way, GPS just drops off for like in 24-hour periods in parts of Iowa for no apparent reason. There's no coverage, even though the U.S. government doesn't do anything small." So no, the cell phones are running off a ground-based system.
Oh, okay. Okay. Why did they take the space program to begin with?
Why even build it? I'm going to steal from Matt Boylan on this one, because he actually put it quite elegantly, which was, you have to eventually. It was, in fact, that was a big mystery for me, which was not if they faked like the moon missions. Why would you fake the moon missions? Why would you spend that much money? Because we all know the rockets were real. And a lot of people were employed, and you spent a lot of money. Why would you do it? And it's because you had to. Sooner or later, and everyone knew this, especially in the science field, there was going to be a lot of pressure, which was, sooner or later, someone's got to take a picture of the Earth. That's the ultimate shot, because we've all been passing around the globes for centuries. So somebody has to take a picture of the Earth, but you can't take a picture of the Earth. You can't just hand people a picture. You can't just walk up to them with an 8x10 glossy or 8x11 glossy and say, oh yeah, here's a picture of the Earth, because the first question is, oh, how'd you take it? So you actually have to create, it sounds ridiculous, but it works. And that is, you have to create at least the illusion of a program that could get high enough to take the picture. That way, say, oh yeah, well, remember that rocket we sent up? That's who took the picture. But they made the mistake in that they were so nervous about screwing that whole thing up. They only took one picture. And then that was the picture they milked for 43 years. And they waited all the way until the last mission. I mean, they dragged their feet on taking that picture because Apollo 8 didn't take it. So Apollo 8, people think, oh, Apollo 11, that went to the moon, landed. No, Apollo 8 supposedly went to the moon, and 10 and 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, they all went, no pictures were taken. 17 went. And then literally on the way back, it's like, oh, okay, well, since this is our last mission, better take a shot. And then that was the only picture they put in textbooks all the way up until, coincidentally enough, the middle of last year, 2015. And it's incredible, they got away with it for that long, but the internet hive mind, figured it out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, by the way, to create the space program, not only do you have to take the picture, but you control the access to space. You do not want private companies going up there and doing stuff, and they held that off for as long as they could. And now, finally, SpaceX and Virgin Galactic are getting involved, and I'm sure at the highest levels there.
Do you remember me showing you that I showed you a video clip from a movie, or from a private company, Blue Oyster, I think it was? I'd have to look at the video again. But basically, they shoot the rocket into space. You watch it shoot into space, and now you see the rocket, you see the trail, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it goes to the ground crew. You hear people talking, like the space mission stuff, and then it goes into CGI graphics.
Yeah. Yeah,
space. And I was like, God damn it.
Yep, that's standard operating procedures. In fact, Max Malone just made a great, I don't know if you caught that one, Stephen. Max Malone made a great video just last week where, again, he's really good at catching the things that aren't there. Where he said, he goes, just so everyone knows, there's not only is there no footage of astronauts doing a pan, but there's no footage of any rocket actually going out into space or re-entering from space.
Okay, here's the question that I have on that Blue Oyster video, and you have about a minute and 30 seconds left. So why would they spend that much money, that much time, a private company, to shoot a rocket into near-Earth space orbit or whatever? Why would they shoot something like that into space and then use a filler with nothing but CGI graphics? And then I don't understand what their logic is.
Because they're infiltrated at the highest levels. When a rocket reaches a certain point, NASA takes over telemetry. They take over the broadcast. And by that, I mean the organization that NASA built, which was the ATS, the Aeronautical and Transportation Safety Bureau. They're the ones that take it over. They can't show it, so they do whatever they can, and people buy the illusion, and we have for 6 decades. But that illusion is starting to break down.
Okay, so go ahead, Mark. Do you have any other questions there, Mr.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good one for you. What do you mean when you refer to the flat Earth spray?
Okay, save that for 1 second. We're going to come back from the break, and then we'll do it again. Listen, guys, today is Flat Friday. If you guys have a question or a comment that's good, leave it in the comment section of Humanastory's episode number 40, Coffee with Humanastory. If you want to, you can also send it in using our contact link that Mark Sargent will put up. And we will be back shortly, guys. Humanastory is the story of humanity, one person at a time. We believe each person has a story to tell, and each story shapes that person into who they are today. Collectively, and more importantly, each and every person's story shapes this little blue rock we call home. We are all together whether we like it or not. We also believe that your unique story might just help someone else traveling down your pathway in life. You might be their guide through this rough time. We are always looking for more exciting stories to share with the world. If you've got one, come share it with us today. Welcome back to Coffee with Humanastory, episode number 40. This is Flat Friday. For anyone who wants to participate in this, all I'm asking is a thumbs up on this, any one of the channels that you see this video up on. And write an intelligent question regarding this episode and what the responses are that you're hearing. What else I'd like to see is, if you want, you can go ahead and use our link in Mark Sargent's description. That will link you to our contact page where you will ask us the question, because we will ask him next Friday. And so we're looking for the question to stump Mark Sargent in a way that is written for him to understand. I need to make that clear too. I've got Mark Emke, who was asking about flat earth spray. Go ahead and ask the question again. We went to break, so we have to... You're not... Mark, we love you. You're old, but you also don't have it unmuted.
Wait a minute. There we go. Sorry. Okay,
It's a
I'm a
rookie
little slow
mistake.
here.
You hate to see it.
Okay.
It happens. Yeah.
What do you mean when you refer to the flat earth spray?
Flat Earth spray was not a phrase that I coined. It was originally created by Star Gods, which was a great little analogy, which was, if you can imagine, so a lot of people say they're open-minded. Conspiracy people love saying, oh yeah, I'm open-minded about everything. And
There was nothing open-minded about those guys' videos.
Well, people will believe in
No,
aliens.
don't stutter on your words. There was nothing open-minded about the way they were thinking when they were writing what they wrote. An open-minded person does not act hostile in any way.
Okay, but we're not still talking about this, right?
I know. Well, you said open-minded. All right. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I do
It's
apologize.
okay.
I did the same thing that they're doing. My bad.
That's okay.
I promise I won't do it again.
If you were open-minded, his thought was, imagine that flat Earth was, some sort of, I don't know, breath spray or a mace or whatever, and so you spray that on someone. It's like, fine, you think you're open-minded? Here, try this. And you get hit in the face with flat Earth and see how you respond. Are you still open-minded? Because flat Earth, people respond to that much, much differently than they do just about anything else, including lizard people and child abductions and ritual killings and you name it. Flat Earth is very, very unique because it elicits a response that it's really shocking to a lot of people. That why would everyone get so upset about something that should be the dumbest and simplest thing that you could just walk away from? And so, yeah, that's what flat Earth spray is. Flat Earth is just the concept of flat Earth getting hit in your face, and to show people how open-minded you really are. And get everyone relaxed the same way. Actually, you should treat it no different than the military does. I don't know if they do it up in Canada, but the place where they take the army, they take you into like a tear gas room. And then they have you take off your mask and you have to breathe in the tear gas. And nobody walks out of there without, crying. That's just the whole point. That's really what flat Earth is. Everyone gets hit with it the same way. Everyone reacts, and they just have to deal with it eventually. So, next question.
Okay, I got one that's kind of off from there. Why do people have to belittle others?
I know what you're going to ask,
so
Mark.
much?
Mark. Yeah, we don't want to bash the other people. I know what you were going to ask. Why are they all hostile and why do they get upset? Why are they belittling each other? But that's the core of what I was saying at the beginning, is why can't they just get along and actually do it? I mean, the trolls on the site are literally just,
again,
they do it because, well, you don't have to explain it.
No. Let me do it in 10 seconds to him. Ready? And that is a very wise but young woman recently said, haters gonna hate. There you go.
Fine. Hold on, Aaron. Wait, hold on. I'll give you an applause for that.
That's a Taylor Swift reference in case everyone got that.
Okay, so Richards,
I'm
Mr.
here.
Steven Richards. Hey, Squeaky.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, give your questions.
All right, so Mark, this is just a yes or no question. The first one, right off bat.
Sure.
You think they found the dome, Admiral Byrd, back in '56 on his last expedition?
Yes.
You think he found the dome?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I'm
Yes.
kidding. I'm kidding.
All right,
Yes.
so you think that? So if Byrd found the dome, and it took 25 to 30 years to find this. Well, 28 actually. But
Yeah.
do you think if you place a if you place a $50 down on a table and you put the bowl upside down, do you think that's a big salad bowl? Is that an accurate representation of where we live? And that also goes upon the nuclear rocket testing back in the 60s and 50s, the 100 to 300 kilometers up.
Yeah.
And they were just testing that. So you think that's like a semi-accurate representation of where we live?
It's the one I like, yeah.
Okay, with that being said, do you think that like I was saying in my video, I don't know if you saw the last part of my video, but I believe in two separate domes, like the one actual physical dome that keeps us in,
Yeah.
and then a I don't know how to explain it, like a gravitational magnetic invisible dome that probably goes about, I don't know, maybe 100, I'd probably say like 10, 20 miles above where the sun is supposedly.
Okay.
And then after you go from there, that could be the point of, do you think that would be the point of where you could probably do like a high altitude or a low, quote unquote, atmospheric, like a NASA video?
Oh, I gotcha. Possible. And people have suggested that. But the thing is, the thing that bothered me about that, because I heard that fairly early on, but the thing that bothered me about that was the ISS. You might be able to do something if there was a gravitational anomaly up there, if you got up high enough. But let's put it this way, they're faking so much up there. Why do any of it if you don't have to? I think maybe the only thing they got up there, even if you were going to repeat signals, try to stimulate satellites, you could do that with a combination of modified AWAC planes, spy planes, or maybe the simplest of all, and that is bounce the signal off of the structure itself. If you could figure that out, depending on how it resonates. But it's possible. Sure, why not? I mean, it's the model you're going with. I'm not going to discount it. Like I've said, anyone, if there's a part of this model that is not, that doesn't jibe with what I've been pushing, I'm not going to lose any sleep. I'm not going to curl up in a fetal position with a bottle later and say I was wrong. No, I will not do that. So.
Yeah, because one thing I started looking into about a week ago was like the whole magnetics thing, and that really caught my eye. You obviously know, if you watched the Globebusters show before.
Yeah.
You're familiar with Bob, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the one that I was just watching a couple old ones the other day, and they got into all the magnetics, and that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
I was like, that's actually pretty possible. Like, that's one thing that everyone can account for, is like that magnets actually work.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I dig it.
All right, so another question here. All right, so obviously you believe there's a dome. You believe there's intelligent something that put us here, right?
Oh, intelligent design. Yeah. It's just now a question of, are we going down the religious path, or are we going to go down an advanced technology path? Because it's one or the other.
All right. So with that being said, what do you think the one who created this intelligent design may look like? I have a little guess, but I would like to hear your little theory on that.
Well,
I think you get asked that question by everybody.
not what they look like though. Because if we're talking about physical characteristics, could this be the Anunnaki reference, which we've heard about so often, where you're not supposed to even draw, you're not even supposed to render what their faces look like, which is why they put bird heads on the top of a lot of them. Yeah, that was like one of the instructions of the Anunnaki. If you look at it, it's like you're not supposed to show what they look like, only that they're big. They're much bigger than us, but they do look like us. I don't think the religious texts were wrong in that aspect, and that is we were made in their image. So yeah, I think they're humanoid looking, but I do think they're probably much larger. I'm not going to go off, try to figure out what the color of their skin is. Not that it matters, because
no.
but yeah, I think they're humanoid. I don't think. Some people say, well, no, they're lizard people or they're bird people or whatever. It's like, yeah, maybe, but I still think they have 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head.
Absolutely. I think they have 3 eyes instead of 2, just on the fact that, like, everyone says humans have their mind's eye. When you close your eye, you can still, like, see stuff from your mind. And I think that's, like, our last connection to them, like not physically, but mentally. And we can, like, connect to their... It's all one theory that they have 3 eyes, but that's just my intake on it.
Yeah. Right on. I like that. That's cool.
Yep, definitely. I mean, I'm always interested in hearing other people's perspective. But the eye thing reminds me of how you're, in psychology, you have to go through a little bit of medical, you got to understand a little medical procedure. And one of the things that we study is how the eye perceives light and how it sends a signal to the brain. Your brain's in complete darkness. So how does it know? Let's say you're sipping a cup of coffee. How does it know what that cup looks like? I mean, your eye just sends a signal. So it interprets that signal, and that's what your muscle memory in your brain, that's how it comes out. So it's interesting, and we know very little about the human body, considering how much we're supposed to know. I've always...
But we went to space, right?
Yeah, but we went to space.
Right.
All right, so on this thought, since we're running out of time, I'm going to go ahead and ask you a few questions. We'll just pick them up later on the next episode.
Okay.
So thoughts on Coffee with Humanastory, episode 39, Flat Earth, or Flat Friday, number 2. Astronauts Gone Wild.
Oh, Astronauts Gone Wild.
Did you do any work on Bart Sebro? I mean, like, who is this man? What makes you believe he's authentic himself? I mean, what made you think, gee, let's follow this guy?
Oh, I didn't necessarily follow him. It was just that I think he lucked out. I think he stumbled across something with the Astronauts Gone Wild. I do not know how he acquired that tape that was supposedly sent from NASA, but
the tape you're speaking of is the low Earth orbit tape?
Low Earth orbit tape that was simulating the Earth from a distance, which in itself is damning to NASA. I mean, absolutely shows that NASA fakes stuff. But I think it was clever. I thought it was too blatant to where now, when I look at it from Flat Earth point of view, I think even the faking of it was fake. Meaning the simulation of low Earth orbit, I don't think was even done by these guys. I think that it was a fallback position on their part to at least create low Earth orbit, just in case. It's just so that they could fall back from this slowly.
I am reminded when you're talking about this, about the Majestic 12 in the alien documentation. The MJ-12 documents were handed by a gentleman named Falcon on a TV show, right? And they openly said, well, this guy gave it to us and he hid his face, the drill. And as you're talking about this, I'm envisioning that. It's almost like it's a repeat thing.
See,
like they like to
look.
And I'm not conspiracy.
Levels,
I'm just saying it's a little coincidental that's what I see.
Governments can keep secrets. Make no mistake. They have before. Anyone has any doubt? Look at the SR-71 spy plane. It went literally from inception to retirement, and then only when they retired it back in the freaking 80s did they say, oh yeah, by the way, we're retiring the spy plane. And people are going, what spy plane? And oh yeah, by the way, we've had this one, even though, and then I love the follow-up to that. It's like, oh wow, what are you going to replace it with? And they said, oh, nothing.
Okay, so in reference to the low Earth orbit tape, why do you feel this aspect of the action committed by Sebro doesn't really matter? You had mentioned every time you talk about him, you go into detail about that specific incident with the tape and Sebro. By this action, I refer to who gets his tape. You said that he had gotten it from a friend or someone he knew gave it to him, and my thing
I think it was just
the
mailed.
who
to
is
him.
important.
Yeah, I know. I think it was just mailed to him. I don't know. I don't even know if has said exactly where, did it show up on his desk in a package, or one of those things. But there was no reason to give him that tape. Like, if you're going to give it to anybody, why give it to that guy?
Okay, and this was on your Flat Earth Clues video number 11, right?
Yeah, but I just mentioned that I actually didn't really mention what I really cared about was, from the Earth to the Moon I did mention, but it was really Astronauts Gone Wild that was more interesting, because again, he talked about, while he was trying to trip them up on questions, he inadvertently came up with the whole Bible scenario, which is, put your hand on the Bible and swear. Probably didn't think much of it. It was just a prop to him. And then the reaction that he got, that was the most surprising thing to me.
Okay, so more on Admiral Byrd. I wanted to clarify a few things. In 1926, the flight of Mr. Byrd, can you explain it deeper? You don't really talk about the 1926 flight. You talk about the other one he did, deep freeze.
Yeah, the 1926 flight where he took a plane to the North Pole. The first person to actually take a plane to the North Pole. And the reason why I kind of glossed over it is because it was the North Pole, and I don't think it had much to do with this. I mean, yeah, in hindsight, it probably should have spent a little more time on it, but it was that's what he's really known for, is the hollow Earth theory, and that he supposedly in 1926 entered an opening in the North Pole and found an ancient civilization and a big journey to the center of the Earth type scenario. And that's what he did in 1926. And you would have thought that supposedly, again, was leaked through his secret diary. And that could have even been a cover story to keep people focused on the North Pole. I don't know. But what we do know is that literally after that, even though you would have thought he would have spent a lot more time up there, he spent the rest of his remaining life, 1928 till his death in 1957, looking for something at the South Pole. So if it was really that great at the North Pole, you would have thought that no matter how much money people threw at him, he would have just kept going back to the North Pole. But no, something kept pointing him back to the South. So fascinating guy, fascinating stories from back then.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, why not make a video dedicated to just him and this whole spiel?
Well,
I mean, I know you do a little bit in your videos, and the Flat Earth Clues 1 through 12 are awesome.
Yeah.
But why not make something a little deeper? Because I've noticed one thing from pretty much everyone who's contacted me about this whole subject is they all ask questions about Byrd.
Part of the reason why I didn't spend too much time on anything is because I was trying to stimulate people's abilities to look for themselves. It's one thing, I can preach and stand on a soapbox and do all I want.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why not make a video dedicated to just him, like 1 10-minute clip of explaining him? Well, the reason I ask this is why I'm asking it, because I sit back and I look at Admiral Byrd, and the first word that pops out is Admiral, which tells me he was in the Navy, which tells me he's working for the government, which tells me that he could be lying.
Sure, he could be, and several people have said that. But I did the second clue I did was called the Byrd Wall, and it did cover a lot about. I mean, yeah, it wasn't that long, but it was pretty much all him.
Would you be willing
to do what?
To make a video on who Byrd is? See, as you see, whenever I do an interview, I encompass who you were, because I think that has a lot to do with who you are. And in this case, we're referencing him, and everybody, I'm not kidding you. The emails that I get are insane about Admiral Byrd. It's like they unanswered questions.
Well, yeah, that's good, but there's no reason for me to do it, because all the information's out there. Yeah, there's tons of, which is why I end every single clue with do your own research and ask questions. For anyone that wants to do more, it's honestly the thing that Byrd. The most important thing about Byrd for me was that 1954 television interview, which is why I put an edited version. And you know me, I don't generally put videos at the end of, put videos in my clues, but I did in his case because I thought it was so important. I thought that spoke more volumes than anything else about what he was. At least you get kind of a look into him. But no, I'm not going to make a specific video just on him, because everyone else, that's why I'm hoping other people will do. And some have. and some haven't. But I think my summary was a pretty good introduction to him.
Oh, well, no, yeah. Are you kidding?
So
I mean, it got me involved in this whole thing, and I'm, you know me, I'm a pretty cool cucumber sort of guy. Okay, so it's funny that you mentioned 1954 because you mentioned in 1955 you expressed that the world got very weird, quote unquote, your own words.
Yeah.
Concluding the operation of deep freeze. What began the weird?
Oh, what everyone did after that, the fact that all the nations that were down in Antarctica left unilaterally, and there were 10, 12 nations that were down there at that time. Not to mention the Soviet Union and the United States ramping up their rocket program like their lives depended on it, and then shortly after that, I mean, less than a year after ramping up the rocket program, putting atomic weapons on the top of them and firing them at the sky for 4 years. And then during that process, from 1958 to 1962, they
Are you talking about the thermonuclear weapons that we were shooting?
Yeah.
That Russia and...
Yeah. You can look it up on
good God.
Wikipedia.
No, you don't have to look it up. The Tsar bomb is just a good example.
Well, no, but that wasn't high altitude. The Tsar bomb was a drop bomb. But for 4 years, firing those rockets up, consistently, at different altitudes, like they were painting the sky looking for something or trying to blow a hole in it. NASA's formed almost immediately after those shots are started in 1958. In 1959, the Van Allen Belt is announced by NASA, again, same group. The Antarctic Treaty, 1959, same year, which locks down Antarctica for all time so that nobody can ever go down there, no matter what country you are or how powerful you are or how rich you are. That was the beginning of all the weirdness that shaped what we are now. Everything we are now, everything that's been happening is really just extensions of those moves that were made in the late 1950s, early 1960s. And then, the space program just expanded and continued the lie, because unfortunately, once you start that lie, you can never officially quit it, even though they've been trying to recently with shutting down the space program and delaying the Mars program. And
they did do that, didn't they? They tried to shut down the space program and only allowed our astronauts to go into space using Russia.
Well, yeah, I mean the space shuttle.
Or Russia and China. I think China has its own space station. Right?
Oh, there's a bunch of countries out there that have their own space programs, but they're all blueprinted off NASA. They all don't do anything. It's just they figured out. So anyway.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about the treaty, the Antarctica Treaty. At some point, I wanted to get a full understanding of the Antarctica Treaty, but I also wanted to talk about there was another treaty, some environmental treaty that you keep referencing, but we don't know too much about. We don't have time today. I'd like to try to understand the treaty in full. I don't know if you've actually gone through it, but I don't think, like you said several times, the government doesn't make mistakes, which means they're specific in their wording. And if everyone talks about Illuminati and the Masonic symbols, etc., then it would all be in wording, right? So maybe we should try that. I want to try to go through that next episode. So listen, I want to thank you guys for being on the show. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks very much.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show.
Humanastory thanks you for listening and your activity within our community.